Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. I'm feeling a teeny bit better, but still very sick. Teddy covers Lawrence Presman. You're watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet. And Teddy, who's on today, my brother? What's going on Friday's show?
Everyone, what people are dying for is a health report from you at the Open, dude. What they really want to know,
that's why
Dave Cokin over the show. He's going to talk Padres, Phillies, Utah State, Wyoming, and Panthers, Lightning, MLB, college football, NHL. Ralph Michaels going to join us next. He's going to talk Ohio State versus Iowa college football, the Giants and the Jags in the NFL. He's got a couple of charts for us as well. And to close out the show, we'll have Andy Lang talking a trio of NFL props for Sunday. In my big game breakdown, I'm going to talk Chiefs and 49ers. That's the show lined up for today. Prez?
Brother, I had my first 5% play in NHL last night. Loser! But I won for my clients. I put both my baseball plays in the package. I had the under and Houston. So my clients did have a winning night, but man, oh man, I had the Toronto Maple Leafs in regulation. They win in overtime. This regulation bet last year it drove me nuts, and it's already driving me nuts. Dave Cokin joining us, everyone. Dave, on these minus 170s, you look to play regulation? Do you play the big juice, or do you just skip it?
Nope. One play last night was Golden Knights. Don't care about the regulation. Not laying a goal and a half because it's a stupid bet. If you like a game, just bet the game. Forget the regulation. Look, they wouldn't let you bet it in regulation if it was a bad bet. If it was a better bet for you than the straight bet. And I'm not. Here's my school of thought on it. If you're worried about reducing the liability, if you lose, then why the hell are you betting the game in the first place? I'm scared money doesn't win. Never has, never will. So I got a decent price of the Golden Knights because I actually played it the day before when the lines came out, assuming Hellenbuck wasn't going to play for Winnipeg, which turned out to be accurate. Line went up to 220, but it didn't matter. Golden Knights dominated the game. If you like a side and it's a favorite, just play it. That's it. Don't lay a goal and a half and stop with the regulation betting. That's my advice.
Well, that sounds like rock solid advice to me, Dave Cokin. My notes have disappeared. Let's get into the first game. The Padres and the Phillies tied at 1, minus 115 for the Padres. Total in this game 7.5. How you betting it, Dave?
I'm not going to bet this one, but I wanted to mention it because I'm setting up to play tomorrow's game between San Diego and Philadelphia. Tonight you got Musgrove, he has just been outstanding, and I don't want to bet against him. I don't want to bet on him either, though, because he's a road favorite. In the first 5, he's even more of a road favorite, and that Phillies crowd is going to be nuts tonight. There's a home field advantage in this game in Philadelphia. What I do want the reason I brought this up, though, tomorrow, it looks like it's going to be Clevenger against Syndergaard. Over. Okay? There's your 2 weak links. You got 2 offenses that can hit the ball, and there's your 2 weak links. Clevenger, we'll see if he's better next year. He's coming back from his second Tommy John. Just hasn't been good. Syndergaard, the Thor that used to exist with the Mets, doesn't exist anymore. He's a mid-90s guy now. Is more pitch to contact. I think patience is a virtue here. Maybe you want to mess around with something tonight. My option tonight would probably be Padres first 5, but I don't like it enough to bet. But tomorrow, I think you sit back and wait for the total and bet it over because I think you're going to get runs tomorrow.
So, Dave, I had Phillies first 5 in game 2. They had a 4-0 lead, and then the bottom of the 5th was a disaster. And then they went on to lose the game. Is there going to be a hangover for Philadelphia off of that? Were they they're in control of the series, they got a 4-run lead, or the day off, it's a whole new day today, is no big deal?
No, they still accomplished what they wanted. I mean, I'm sure they would have liked to have won 2 straight at Petco, but they got 1. So they've now got the home field advantage. So I think mission accomplished for them. And look, Snell was really good. The 4 runs the Phillies got in the second inning were, let's just say they got fortunate on some weak balls. And they didn't have a good night offensively, but at home, probably a different story. I think they should be a very confident team returning home. They played great ball in the postseason. And however, they do have the second best pitcher in tonight's game. Ranger Suarez comes up as the runner-up when matched up with Joe Musgrove.
Dave Cokin joining us, everyone. Oh, Dave, coughing, sneezing in the middle of the show. Got myself on mute, though. Wyoming hosting Utah State, -4.5. Where are we going in this game?
I'm trying to decide whether I want to put this on the card or not. I'm certainly leaning Wyoming. There's a bunch of stuff here. The Wyoming quarterback used to play at Utah State. It was a very amicable departure. He had lost his job there and wanted to go someplace where he was going to play. Landed at Wyoming. Does get to go against his former team here, but they love him, okay? Peasley's the guy who left on a good note. Wyoming will be facing, who knows, at quarterback for Utah State. I think they originally thought it might be Levi Williams, but he's still hurt. Looks like it's going to be Davenport, who got his first extended action last week and went 3 for 9. The only reason I'm hesitant is, do I want to lay points with Wyoming and that offense they've got, which isn't very good. But man, Utah State quarterback issues. They're not a very good team offensively. I think Wyoming's a little better team. I just don't know whether I want to lay 4.5 or 5. But if I land on this game, it's got to be the Wyoming side. They just appear to be in better shape physically for this game, and I think they're a little better football team as well.
Yeah, Wyoming beat them 44-17 last year. I mean, again, you're not a serious history guy much at all.
No.
I know it's something we've talked about on the show a lot. But in an instance like this, where these are two programs that have fairly similar trajectories. All right, when you talk about Wyoming football and Utah State football, they're not programs that are one's light years ahead or behind of the other. I would put them in fairly similar spots. When you have teams that are fairly equal programs, fairly equal over the long term, does it make you more reluctant to lay points in games?
No. No, I don't. I care very little about series history because you have to isolate what happened in each of those games. I look back to last year and I keep notes. I don't even know how I keep track of them sometimes. But I marked down after that. I think it was after that game. Wasn't a big game for Utah State. They just had a no-show in the game last year, in what was otherwise a good season. And it was probably Wyoming's best game of the year. That was last year. No, that stuff does. It's kind of. I'll mention this in hockey. I had Golden Knights last night, and somebody mentioned on my Twitter timeline, they've had a lot of trouble with that team, which they have. They lost 5 straight to Winnipeg. Well, now they've lost none straight to Winnipeg. That stuff just doesn't matter. To me, it does to some people. And there are certain revenge situations where I do like. I like the factor, especially if, for instance, a team has had an extra week to prep for a game and it's revenge, and they've got some positive momentum. I think that's a good thing. I mentioned that, I think, in the Boise State Air Force game that I did a pre-play video on, that, hey, this is a good spot for Boise because they've had an extra week to prep. They've got revenge from last year. Those are positives. Plus, the Air Force has got Army next week. So, yeah, it's a good situation. But by and large, it's not a deal breaker for me. I think if you look at revenge overall, and you may be able to isolate certain spots, but they're infrequent. Overall, it's a 50-50 proposition.
Dave Cokin. Dave, let's talk some hockey. Florida hosting Tampa Bay -110, total of 6.5. Should be a great game. Great rivalry between these two teams. Who you betting in this one?
I lean Tampa. And I'm pretty selective early in the season, and I'm very happy with the way the NHL is going so far. I'm off to a great start. This would normally be a spot where I'd be on the Lightning because, they haven't often lost. Tampa's a team you generally wanted to be on. But I mentioned this game because I wanted to have an exchange with you on this, Prez. In watching the Lightning's first 4 games, they kind of look slow.
Yeah, something's wrong.
I wonder if they're getting old. I know the depth isn't there as it's been in past years, but this team they've always had a lot of team speed. And watching their games so far, that team speed edge that's almost always there for Tampa doesn't seem to be there. So I've got a red flag next to them right now.
It's sorry, Dave. For me, it's not whether they're getting old. It's how much hockey they've played. I mean, this team over the last 3-4 years has just played way more hockey than anybody else. But I think we've seen the story play out, Dave. And that's why when you say you like Tampa, I think Tampa's the right pick here, too. These are the games. These are those games where Tampa will turn it around. It's too early for a red flag next to this team. They look tired. Something is wrong. But they are Tampa Bay, and they're going to go on runs.
And, you can throw this in. We see teams have the loser of the Super Bowl often has a hangover that lasts quite a ways into the next season. Might be seeing that with the Lightning. 2-time champions, not the champions anymore. Colorado knocked them around. So maybe there's a bit of a hangover there for the Lightning as well. I think this is a big game for Tampa. And it's definitely what I'm watching tonight because I want to see this is a situation where the Lightning have really done well over the past several years. Rivalry type game, often loss. Yep. You could generally just stick your money in Tampa and then go pick up the money after the game. I want to see if they fit that bill again this year or if they get beat tonight. It might be one of those things where it's like, okay, might be time to start handicapping this team a little differently than we have in the past.
Yeah. You're right. Important game for Tampa Bay. Dave, what do you got to promote?
Let's see. The hockey, as I mentioned, is off to a very nice start. College football have won 4 straight weeks. Still number 1 all time in profits. I don't have a big card this weekend. Right now, only 3 games. I'm not going to force anything, especially since it's been going well lately. Baseball, finally lost one. I was unbeaten through 7 selections in the playoffs. Had the Yankees first 5 last night. That lost, and I was the wrong side. So 5-1-2 now in the postseason. Eagerly anticipating a potential play tomorrow in Game 4 between the Padres and Phillies. Get a package. I mean, the profits are there. Once again, close to 100 units profit for the year, and should get there without too much trouble between now and the end of the year. So grab a package and play the same games I'm on every day.
There you go, Dave Cokin, everyone. Teddy covers. Awesome segment. Brother, what did you learn in the wonderful world of sports betting last night?
So Marvin Lewis took the blame for that Bengals 0-6 playoff record, but Andy Dalton was 0-4 in those. And he got hurt another time. I don't think he was there for the first one. In those 4 playoff games, all of which Cincinnati lost, several of which I had my money on the Bengals, he threw 1 touchdown compared to 6 INTs. He was awful in every one of them. And the last one of them came in 2014. That's the last time Andy Dalton starts a playoff game. That's 1,000 years ago. Doesn't matter. You and your coach go 0-6 in the playoffs. There's no redemption from that. You suck forever. And, of course, Dalton has now been a backup for years, just like Geno Smith. Except that unlike Geno Smith, Dalton keeps playing behind quarterbacks that are getting hurt or being ineffective. Smith never played much. Dalton got a bunch of starts with Dallas in 2020 and a bunch of starts with Chicago last year and a bunch of starts with New Orleans already this year. So what did we see from Andy Dalton last night? And I'm not blaming it all on Dalton. One of the interceptions went off his receiver's hands. It happened. But he throws a pick in the end zone. He throws back-to-back pick sixes. The team loses by only 8, and he cost him 21 points. You know, I'm dating myself here, but, you know, you remember that Talking Heads video from back in the day? Same as it ever was with Andy Dalton. I'll never forgive that guy for the postseason and seeing him lose last night and the game flying over the total. I guess it gave me a little bit of a smile. That's what I learned last night, Prez. Some guys, your anger at them never dissipates, despite the years going by. Andy Dalton, one of those guys who's, I mean, I don't know if he's been an overachiever or an underachiever as an NFL quarterback. He's never been a superstar.
Yeah, well, he made the NFL. His parents, Mr. and Mrs. Dalton, should be proud. Teddy, I hated the Talking Heads, and I hated that song. Same as it ever was. I can see it now. I can even hear that deep voice. Oh, why did you put that piece of shit in my head? Okay, I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna get rid of that song in my head. Ready? Comma, chameleon. Ralph Michaels. What's up, my brother?
Thank you for not singing any further than that. So that's all I can say.
I don't even think I got the lyrics right. I think it's Karma Chameleon.
No. Just let it go. Just let's talk to Ralph about sports.
Chameleon.
Yeah, we got a lot to go over. I got a bonus today, Prez. If you quit talking and we get into it,
go. Mike's yours.
All right. I'm gonna go through the first few things because I got bonus chart. As I said, I was on a radio show with Teddy. Cover it with Teddy. I don't. I'm sorry, you'll go through it, but we did a week 6 breakdown on how college football teams do off an ATS win streak and ATS losing streak. So I wanted to look at, since October, do the same things apply. So if we see the chart, there it is. When teams are off 3 or more straight ATS wins in the month of October, since 2019, they've covered 41.4%. If the team is on a red-hot streak of 4 or more ATS wins, they've covered 34.9%. There's a little fallback at 5 or more, but it's still 39.1%. So what does that tell us? When teams are going good, Las Vegas adjusts the line, and people start paying attention, and they don't tend to cover in the winning streak. So then I wanted to look at the opposite on the bottom. Does the opposite happen? Well, you see, if a team is really bad and they've lost 3 or more games, it's a 50-50 prop. We'll throw it out. But when a team has lost 4 or more games, they've then covered 55%. And if they lost 5 or more, I went all the way back to 2009. If a team has lost 5 or more games against the spread, they have covered that 6th game 58.7%. So, Teddy, we already chatted about this with week 6 specifics. I expanded it to October.
I love the concept there. And, of course, the show Ralph is referencing is called Cover It with Teddy Covers. Every weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, have a college football edition on Saturday, and Sunday do an NFL edition. That's on the Sports Grid Radio Network, channel 159, Sirius XM. And, of course, you can download the podcast version from my Twitter feed. Very easy enough at Teddy_covers. Ralph, those are great numbers. They make a ton of sense. All right, when you're talking about, teams getting betting bandwagons and the betting markets adjusting to those betting bandwagons, or teams having fading bandwagons, the betting markets adjusting to those fading bandwagons. A little bit of extra value you find on teams off of winning or losing streaks. Here's my question. What teams it apply to this week? Who should we be betting on? Who should we be betting against?
Well, there's only one team that has won 5 or more straight games against the spread. That is Rice. Teams that have covered 4 or more straight are Navy, Buffalo, and UConn next week. As far as 5 or more ATS losses in a row, 4 teams apply. SMU, Miami, BYU, and Nevada all fit the bill. Now, I will say this, Teddy. Let's say we caught Rice 4 games ago, and we bet on them and they won and covered, and we bet on them and won and covered, and we bet on them and won and covered, and we bet on them and won and covered, I would not be dropping off them. If I happen to catch that streak once every 2 or 3 years where you're on a team that continues to cash for me, This would not talk me betting out of it, even though it's a negative situation, only covering 39%. If you're on that streak, I would play it out. But this is just, do not jump on the streak if you're late to the party.
Ralph Michaels. God, we love having you on. Guys, let's get those likes up, please. One of our listeners said Prez went 3-0 in his daily presidential address yesterday. Incorrect. I gave out Boston in regulation. I went 2-1, but I got a lot of NFL for you guys today, so let's get to 100 likes. They're talking heads in the room there. Psycho Killer, Qu'est-ce que c'est, blah, 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 blah. God, I hate that band. Well, let's get into some actual games. Ohio State minus 29.5 versus Iowa. Well, one thing you can count on, Iowa not scoring. So I think if Iowa State gets 35, they're going to get there. How are we handicapping this game?
You know what, Prez? That is actually what I put in my write-up. The most I can see Iowa getting is 10, and that's a stretch. Yeah. Can Ohio State get to 40? Absolutely. I don't care how good this offense is. You look at Iowa. Iowa's teams have played pass offenses of 47, 75, and 5 teams over 100. They are now playing the best offense in football. It's simple. And the one thing I want to point out is this, as we keep teaching people handicapping techniques. I heard someone say, well, why would you lay over 4 touchdowns? If you make a line 34, I'm not worried if it's 28.5, 29, 29.5. I still feel there's value in that game. One system to go with this game, which makes perfect sense to me, a nice 135 game sample size. If a team won prior to a bye, had the bye week, and is now a favorite of 11 or more, so you are rested, you are clearly the better team as a big favorite. Those teams have covered 61.5%. Not a wow system, but a solid 61.5% system that makes complete sense and fits in this situation, on top of the situation where Ohio State, with Jim Knowles, the new DC from Oklahoma State, who turned them into the 1B defense last year, they held 5 of their 7 people to a season low. Well, if you hold Iowa to a season low, that means under 150 yards this week.
So here's my question. And again, it's a series history story, and these two teams don't meet every year. But you look at the series history with Ferentz and his defense against the Buckeyes, there are no 4 touchdown wins for Ohio State. Certainly not in the last 20 years there haven't been. And we've seen Iowa upsets. We've seen Iowa hanging around. We've seen Iowa covering and losing by 3 as a 16.5-point dog. Losing by 10 as an 18.5-point dog. Do you worry at all about Ferentz's success in roles like this? He's been, even though this year's offense is rough, he's been pretty good in the big dog role over the years.
No, not at all. Not this year. Not with, not with 2 running people like Williams and Henderson. Not with the quarterback who is now experienced in this receiving group. Too many weapons, too many designs. The Ohio State teams in the past were a little bit different. I think this is their best offensive team when everyone's healthy.
Ralph Michaels burning down the house. Boom! New York Giants in Jacksonville. Where are we going here, my brother?
Well,
the road to nowhere. The talking head puns are insane. Okay.
Well, let me start off this game by saying this year in the NFL, if you bet every under this year, you have gone 57 and 37, 60.6%. The scoring is down. We've seen so many different quarterbacks. We've still seen the inflated lines from higher scoring the last few years. So that's just an FYI note. Unders are 60.6%. That includes last night's game that went over the total. Now we have the New York Giants. We know what they're going to do. We know Barkley's going to run the ball. We know Daniel Jones is great in play action, but they are still a slower-paced team that likes to control the clock. They're number 5 in time of possession. Jacksonville as well, number 13 in time of possession. Jacksonville rush D, number 5, allowing 3.6 yards per carry. A system that fits to this bill. When a team won 2 weeks ago as an away dog, and they won as a dog last week, and now they're on the road like the Giants are, it's been a strong 12-year system going 71% to the under. That means you traveled again, You're off 2 wins as a dog, which means your defense is playing well. Yes, they allowed 406 yards last week to Baltimore, but I really like the fortitude of this Giants game. 3 times they were down at halftime, and they came back and won this year. So I am a G-Man fan. I am a Barkley fan. And Daniel Jones, trust me, I was on the Daniel Jones sucks bandwagon for a couple years. He has opened my eyes, turning into a quality quarterback.
So we're looking at the under here, or we're looking at the Giants here?
I actually like both, but the system applies to the under. I want to talk the under. I think the under is a little bit stronger. So I do like the under, but I also like the G-Men as well, plus the points.
So let me ask you this, because Jacksonville's been an over machine of late. They cashed 3 overs in their last 4 games. The offense has scored 3 touchdowns or more every time but that one stupid game against Houston where they couldn't figure out how to beat a cover 2 for some reason. I'm still baffled by that game. The Giants coming off their 2 highest scoring games of the season and one of the lower totals on the board. Does any of that stuff concern you?
Well, an over machine, their last home game was 13-6 against Houston. They gained 422 yards, but they struggled passing the ball. I am not concerned. Last week, 34-37. 2 weeks ago at Philly, again, they gave up 29. So we're looking at offenses that have done well. Remember, the Jags have played 4 of 6 games on the road. Their only home games against Indianapolis, 24-0, and home against Houston, 13-6. That's a total of 43 points in 2 games.
Ralph, awesome stuff, man. And I like the navy blue you got going. Some Giants.
Prez, I'm going to throw up one more chart for you, and I did this for you today. And because it's Friday, okay, I want to sneak this in real quick. Take a look at this chart I did for NHL home favorites of -160 or more since 2019. Yeah. Look at the results on the weekend, Friday and Saturday. Are teams more excited? Are the crowds a little more rowdy? But Friday and Saturday, NHL home favorites of 160 or more. Look at the difference in profit compared to the rest of the week. Sunday, Thursday, and Monday, they've been a money burner.
Yeah, but why, Ralph? Like, I looked at this chart before the show begun, and I was like, why? I mean, there has to be some kind of reasoning behind this. And the concept of Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the crowds are more excited. Well, that can't be true in Canada, where every game is sold out no matter what day it is. Why? I need a why.
Well, we'll see. I'm sharing data with you. I know in the NBA, Friday night home teams used to have a great success rate. I haven't run that number in a while. So if you're at home, you're into the weekend, you're playing Friday night, again, we're sharing the data. We'll see what the chat room says, if they think there's data or if they think this is an anomaly.
Teddy? So Friday night NBA home favorites were a bet against for a long time as well. So that has ebbed and flowed over the years. Yeah. Lawrence, of course, is thinking about 4 Canadian teams and 26 American teams. 6. He's thinking about the 4 Canadian teams.
6 Canadian teams.
Okay, whatever. There's 1/5 of the league is Canadian, so therefore everything's Canadian. But in the U.S., there are many venues that are not Phil on a Tuesday night or a Sunday night, and it makes sense that a Friday night, or you're asking why? Friday night and Saturday night, the crowd's into it, the team's into it, they all go out and party afterwards. Maybe.
But let's see what the alcohol consumption is at an NHL arena on Friday and Saturday compared to a Tuesday or a Sunday game. I'd like to know that, how much more booze they sell, and does that make a crowd more raucous? Even though, Prez, you said they're all raucous. That's not true. I've been to Golden Knights games on the weekends that are crazier than they are midweek.
No, fair enough. I'm going to talk to Carmen Andrew about that chart. I love the chart. I'm not going to bet the chart unless I know why. And I would love to know if that, is it indicative of all, I'd like to see that chart in the small markets where weekends are much greater attended than during the week. But New York, Chicago, Boston, Minnesota, these are sold out stadiums all the time. Ralph, what do you have
Prez, I will do this for you. I will email you the chart this weekend, And next time you're on Puck Time, you could bring it up. But I will give you team by team what they do on Friday and Saturdays compared to the rest of the week, and then you decide.
Beautiful. What do you got to promote, bro?
Just a plain great weekend. 4 games today. Number 1 in the NBA last year, win percentage, and number 1 profit did the doubleheader. 4% NBA game of the week and 4 plays today. 7 college football plays loaded for Saturday. 5 NFL plays loaded for Sunday. If you're ever going to get a 3-day all access, today's the day.
Awesome stuff, Ralph Michaels, everyone. Teddy, we got to take a quick break. We got your big game breakdown, Andy Lang, and the presidential address still to come.
Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.
The big game breakdowns have been pretty good this week. Let's give you a big game breakdown today that is a 4% client play for the weekend. NFL on Sunday. Kansas City travels to San Francisco. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, I'm seeing the Chiefs -2, total sitting at 49 in San Fran. Let me start with this. I want KC laying less than a field goal off a loss. They're 10-3 straight up in these spots in the Mahomes era. They've won all 10 of those games by a field goal or more. And in particular, with the buy on deck for KC. They don't want to go in a buy on a 2-game skid. This is a maximum intensity spot. People are saying it's a letdown spot off a loss to the Bills. I'm not buying that one iota. The quotes I've been reading aren't telling me that KC is expecting to do anything but win this game. We've seen this coach-quarterback matchup before. You know, Reed and Mahomes beat Shanahan Garoppolo by double digits. That was a great day for my client's bankroll. It's a great day for my bankroll. And I'll still take Reed and Mahomes in this matchup. And this time we don't even have to lay a full field goal. And, of course, we have a San Francisco squad that just traded away a bunch of draft picks for an overpaid running back in Christian McCaffrey. Money's calling it on the Niners. Oh, McCaffrey's the difference maker. NFL running backs don't matter. Okay? They've got cluster injuries on the offensive line, which means McCaffrey's got to learn the blocking schemes yesterday. Don't know that he's done that. They got cluster injuries in the secondary against Kansas City. San Fran's a 500 team right now. KC's a Super Bowl contender off a loss. And let's not forget the Niners returning home. They've done this 4 times in this Shanahan era. They played back-to-back road games and stayed out east between the 2 road games. 2017, 2019, 2020, and 2021. Returning home, 0-4 against the spread, just 1-3 straight up. I like KC minus the 2. I think the Chiefs might win this one comfortably. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Yeah, Teddy, makes total sense to me. But instead of asking you about it, we're running out of time. Let's bring in the svelte Andy Lang. What up, Andy?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Teddy, I got to ask you, I think you and I have the same opinion of Christian McCaffrey. Was this really what San Francisco needed? I don't really understand this trade. They didn't need a running back. They're fine.
I understand. So the trade is that Shanahan wanted to draft McCaffrey 6 years ago, and now he gets a chance to get him and they don't have to trade away a first rounder. But and the Niners are making all win now moves, all in moves right now, because you look at their draft for next year, they don't have anything. They don't have a 1, they don't have a 2, they don't have a 4. I mean, it's a win now move for San Fran. And McCaffrey's a good back. He just doesn't move the needle for me from a point spread perspective. And the markets, absolutely, they move the needle for the markets. And I'm not buying that McCaffrey's that kind of a difference.
I would have thought them trading for the linebacker would have been a better move
for them right now with the injuries that they have on the defense. They pride themselves on their defense. I would have thought that would have been the move from them. But hey, that's why I'm here, and they're in the front office. They know better than me.
And we could have seen. We could have explained why the Rams got McCaffrey. That would have made sense. But anyway, good luck, San Fran.
Anytime you trade for a running back, it's a bad trade. 100% of the time. There are no. If you give up any assets for any running back, it's a bad trade.
Well, now you've changed your statement. I'm going to trade a 7th round draft pick in 2033 for McCaffrey. Good or bad?
Yeah, neutral, because you're paying McCaffrey's salary, and that's going to mess your own salary cap up. And the Rams have salary cap issues up
You
the
know who
wazoo.
else's salary I'm paying? Andy freaking Langs. So
I'm
let's get into it, Andy. You've got some prop bets.
When did that happen? Yes, I have some prop bets.
Congratulations.
I have missed my salary for several years now.
Yeah, knock. You got back pay coming now.
Okay.
We have props.
He said he was paid. He didn't say WagerTalk owes you. He said,
yes.
Yeah. So that's a Prez off right now. All right, come on. We're out of time.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Andy, go.
All right. Well, we cashed this one last week on the show. Why not come right back to it? Najee Harris, under 63.5 yards rushing and receiving. He's only gone over this total twice this year. And last week, very surprising, but the game script was good for him against Tampa Bay. He still only had 42 yards rushing and 7 yards receiving. And Miami has been fantastic at defending running backs. They've only given up 430 yards rushing through 6 games to running backs. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson ran on them, but the running backs did not. Even last week, Dalvin Cook had a 53-yard long run. You know, if you take that one play out, the Vikings running backs combined for 14 carries for 29 yards, 1 catch for 6 yards. The Steelers have this, they're claiming that Najee Harris had this steel plate in his shoe, and now that the steel plate is out, he's healthy. I don't buy it. I didn't see explosiveness from him. I think their backfield is a little bit better with him off the field a lot. I don't see upside for him right now. I'm a little curious why this number went up a yard this week, so I'm going to keep playing Najee Harris under 63.5 rushing and receiving.
So, where did this number start at the beginning of the season? You said he's gone under every game but 1. You know, how much have the books adjusted? Every game but 2. Have the books adjusted it downwards or not much?
Yeah, they've adjusted it down, but not enough. I mean, you know, remember coming into the season, Najee, if you played fantasy football, he's a top round draft pick, so his number was well into the 80s, and it's just slowly ticked down. But I love this 63.5 because he's gone over 2 times that the books can't lower it too much. I don't like the game script for the Steelers. I don't like the way that they're using him. And really the eye test, Teddy, I don't see the same explosiveness that I saw from him last year. Maybe that foot is starting to get a little bit healthy, but until I see it from him, I'm just going to keep rolling with the unders on him.
Andy, you got a prop bet for us on Matthew Ryan. What up?
Yeah, it's more of a fade of this Tennessee Titans secondary. They have just given up a ton of passing yards, 4 straight games of 300-yard passing quarterbacks. And we hit a really, really nice play on Carson Wentz over his receiving yard against this Tennessee Titans secondary. Matt Ryan's total is 252.5. And Matt Ryan has thrown for 300-plus in 2 out of his last 3 games. The one under was against Denver. That's an elite pass defense. I know Tennessee is coming off of a bye, but unless they change some of the personnel in the secondary, I don't see this working out well for the secondary. Colts are getting Jonathan Taylor back. I think a lot of people would say, well, they're going to run the ball more. Not so much. When you've got a secondary that's as bad as Tennessee is this year, I don't see why they're going to rush Jonathan Taylor back and give him 25, 30 carries. I think Taylor helps move the offense a little bit more. I think the emergence of Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman really, really helps this passing offense. I don't think the pass rush of Tennessee is going to get to Matt Ryan as he just torched him a couple weeks ago. So give me Matt Ryan over 252.5 yards passing.
Sure, and again, Ryan threw for 356 against this team just a couple of weeks ago. But at the same time, you know, Ryan's coming off a game in which he had 58 pass attempts against the Jags. And he had 41 the week before that when they scored 9 against Denver. And in theory, that's not the way Indy wants to play, especially with Taylor back on the field. Do you think he's going to get those type of pass attempt numbers, or it's just going to be like the first meeting where it's one big gainer after the next?
I think it's one big gainer after the next. I know they may not want to play this way, but sometimes you kind of have to play this way. The offensive line is not nearly as good as we thought it was coming into the year. Taylor has not been very good. He struggled. And even though Matt Ryan has been under pressure a lot, he's still getting these big plays. And Tennessee was so bad in the first one. I'm not sure what changes they make. Like I said, I like the addition of Taylor, who's going to keep the defense somewhat honest. I just don't see the personnel that's going to stop them. I think Pittman has a big game, Pierce has a big game, and it's all coming from Matt Ryan. So I'll take his over pretty confidently.
Guys, if you like what you're hearing, subscribe to our channel, please. WagerTalk TV. Also, join us on TikTok. Both Andy and Teddy doing a lot of TikTok videos. Same with Trigger and Tony Mejia, Dwayne Bryant. So check us out on TikTok. What now,
Weren't you
man?
doing TikTok
what
videos?
now?
You were talking about how you were getting more hits than me.
I'm doing
and you were
TikTok
nailing-
videos. I'm sick,
what
man. I
happened,
just want to
Lawrence?
go to bed. I just want to sleep. Andy, you got a prop bet for us on Ben Simmons. Give it to us and promote yourself. No follow-up questions. The mic is yours.
Speaking of asleep, I watched the Nets the other night. Boy, what a disaster that was. They just had a terrible opening night. They got blown out by New Orleans. And Simmons was rusty, as expected. He only played 23 minutes. He had 4 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He only took 3 field goal attempts, 2 free throw attempts, which he missed both of them. And this is a tough matchup tonight against Toronto. I was high on Toronto coming into this season, and they have multiple guys that they can throw at Durant, Kyrie, and Simmons. Toronto beat Cleveland a couple nights ago. They gave up 31 points to a hot-handed Donovan Mitchell, but they held Garland and LeVert to a combined 14 points, 6 rebounds, and 10 assists. So, Teddy, they let a volume shooter for Cleveland score a bunch of points, and then they just held the other role players in check. Does Brooklyn have
Garland
a volume
got hurt, though.
Well, yeah, correct. But the point being, the Nets have Kyrie Irving, a volume shooter, who they could just kind of let go off, and Kyrie's never seen a shot that he doesn't like. I don't see where the points are coming from Simmons. This 22.5, I'm going to keep rolling with the unders on Ben Simmons until he gets more than 3 field goal attempts. I also think they're going to ease him in. He was rusty. He's coming off a back injury. 23 minutes. He didn't play a lot in the fourth quarter, but I don't know if he's going to play a whole lot fourth quarter. How do you play this guy who can't score, can't shoot free throws? If the game's close, how do you have him in there in crunch time? I'm just going to take unders on Ben Simmons until he shows me otherwise. But I don't think with getting 5 rebounds and 5 assists like he did last time, he's going to have to really uptick his points. I don't see it with only 3 field goal attempts.
Andy, great stuff. Where do they find you? What do you got going?
I'm at WagerTalk.com. We got a 5% NFL play that is up right now. We're on a 7-1, 5% run in NFL. Very proud about that. Auto racing pack is up, and NBA season's off to a great start. 4-1 on NBA props. That pack is up right now. We've got 2 of those, and one of them is the Ben Simmons. So that's a client play. I'll be on NBA tip-off later today. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Love you, Andy. Get out of here, brother. Kick ass this weekend. Teddy, we got a lot of people in here. One guy, I have a TikTok account, but I don't like it. Okay, set up a new TikTok account. Maybe you'll like that one. How do you not like TikTok? It's like when people say to me, Teddy, I don't like Las Vegas. Las Vegas is the worst. I never want to go to Las Vegas. Really? So you don't like the best restaurants in the world. You don't like incredible shows. You don't like people watching. You don't like pools, swimming. You don't like golf. Like, how do you not like TikTok? Well, how? Anyway, Dan, cue it up. Okay, guys, I just want to make mention the NFL Presidential Address is up. It went up this morning, a day later than normal. You can check it out at WagerTalk TV, our YouTube channel. I look at every single game on the board. Megan Payton joins me as well with some prop bets. So check that out. It is up now. I have 3 NFL bets for you guys for this weekend. Let's get to it. Look, Indianapolis and Tennessee over the total of 42. I was actually on the under the last time these teams played at the beginning of the season, and it cashed barely. But I like the over here. I also like the Giants and Jacksonville under the total of 42.5. Ralph Michaels was on the show. He gave a little bit of a breakdown on that. Giants and Jacksonville under. And I like the LA Chargers minus the 6.5. That's it for me. Oh, I like the Detroit Red Wings in hockey tonight, but I am passing for my clients. It's a small card. Teddy, I'm going to nap. Take us home, my brother.
Sure, of course. You can find the Chargers widely available at -5 right now. Don't be laying 6.5 with LA. That's going to wrap it for the week here at Wager Talk Today. We really appreciate your time and effort. Thank all of our guests, and thank you for taking time out of your busy day to spend with us. We'll do it again on Monday, each and every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon for you back east. Between now and then, hey, have a great betting weekend. Enjoy the games, and good luck.
Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.